All right, friends, welcome back to the channel. We've got some Microsoft Flight Simulator for you today in our Let's Fly series. We're going to be flying the KingAir. Now, we just went through class for the KingAir 200. There's not really a good KingAir 200 variant here on Microsoft Flight Sim, so we're going to be using the KingAir 350, and also not all the buttons and everything are interactable in the KingAir 350, so it's going to be a little different from the checklist that we're following, because we're going to be following checklist for the 200 or for the B200, but we're going to be in a 350. So we're going to do as much as we can, as much as the sim will allow us to do, in following those checklists very precisely. In this Let's Fly series, we're going to be flying all across the country. We start at our home airport in Ogden, and then we're going to fly to a nearby airport, and then for our next episode, we'll start at that airport and fly to the next one. We're just going to go to a whole bunch of different airports all over the United States. We're going to be doing it with real-time weather, and we're going to be doing a full instrument flight plan every time we go. So we'll have a departure procedure, we'll get up to cruise, we'll have arrivals, approaches, the whole shebang, all the way in. So we'll have our flight plans done, we'll do instrument clearances, all of that good stuff. In each video during cruise, because cruise can get kind of slow, kind of boring, we're also going to simulate, or at least go through one of our emergency scenario checklists so that we can stay up to date and we can stay current and proficient on different emergencies that could occur while we're flying. There will be video timestamps down at the bottom. So in our video description here, we will have timestamps so that you can see, engine startup, when we do takeoff, when we do departure. If you want to skip the cruise part, you can go ahead and skip the cruise part, because it's how much fun is it to watch a plane flying straight level. So if you want to skip it, you can skip it, but we'll have different timestamps for each different phase of the flight down at the bottom. Lastly, before we jump into this flight, we just want to let you know this is not official training. Don't take this as official flight instructor training. Alright, not official training, and the charts that we're going to be using may or may not be current, so don't take the charts, any of the approach plates or departure charts or en route charts as current and official. This is just for fun and entertainment purposes, but we're glad you're here to join us, so let's go fly the KingAir. Alrighty, friends, welcome to the cockpit. We're going to be flying our black square analog with our GTN 750 for today's flight. We ended our last flight of our Let's Fly series here in Santa Barbara. You can see it's a nice, beautiful day in Santa Barbara. And we're going to be heading down to Montgomery, down in San Diego, Montgomery Executive Field. So, we've got that all set up. Let me go ahead and show you what our flight plan is going to be for today. Here is Santa Barbara. So this is where we're at. We're going to be flying down the coast over Los Angeles and down into Montgomery, San Diego. Leaving from Santa Barbara, you can see we've got some pretty good weather. Skies are clear, winds are calm. So it's beautiful weather departing out of here today. That being said, we decided to fly the Flout 5 departure. So we're going to be taking off of runway 7. We're taking off runway 7 here. We're going to turn right. We're going to get on this radio right here, this 197 to Flout, and then we'll go ahead, head out to Ventura. And I'll show you here. That'll take us over to Ventura VTU. And then we'll head over to the LAX VOR, down to the Oceanside VOR, and then we'll shoot our approach, get ready for our approach into Montgomery Field. That's going to be our plan. So typically, again, you don't usually get your clearance like before you even start booting the plane or anything like that, but for the sim, we've already got our clearance, and we've already built it in our GPS. So this is what our clearance looks like. KingAir Wi-Fi CFI, you're clear to the Montgomery Airport via the Flout 5 departure, Ventura, then it's filed. Climb maintain 6,000, expect 23,000 or 230, flight level 230. 10 minutes after departure frequency 120.55, squawk 2314. This is our shorthand, cleared to Montgomery Field. Flout 5, Ventura, as filed. Climb and maintain 6,000, expect flight level 230 in 10 minutes. Departure frequency 120.55, and our squawk code is 2314. So, then we can go ahead and jump back into the cockpit, and I'll show you on our 750 how we've got that built out here. You can see that we went ahead and put our departure frequency in, so 120.55. We've got 2314 in our altimeter. The altimeter setting was 2314 in our transponder. Our altimeter setting was 3005 for today, so we got that in 30.05. Then if we come over here, I'll show you the flight plan. Up. So, departing Santa Barbara, runway 7. We'll go ahead and fly the departure, the flight departure, then to Ventura. Then we got LAX, Oceanside, Montgomery. Got it all set up there. That being said, I think we're all good. We're on GPS mode right here. We've got our course set for our desired track of 075. Got our heading bug set. Our altitude set for 6,000. That's our initial altitude before we go up to 230. Let's go ahead and jump into our checklist. Get this plane booted up and then we can fly. Emergency exit secured and locked. Cabin door closed, secured and unlocked. Cabin door closed and locked. Seat belts adjusted and fastened. Parking brake is set. That's right down here. You can see it's pulled out, set. Fuel panel circuit breakers would come over here. Check, make sure these are all pressed in. They are engine ice fans. We'll go ahead and extend these for our engine start and taxi. Switches as required. We'll just go ahead and get our beacon on, letting people know that we're going to start the engine soon. Landing gear handle is down. Relay circuit breaker is pressed in. Lights all look good. Oxygen supply control handle would be up and behind us in the 200. It is down over here in the 350. All good. Power levers are idle. We can go ahead and get our propellers full forward, and our condition levers are idle. Cabin sign is usually over here in the 200, but up here, 350, we can put that to fasten your seatbelt. No smoking. We can get that on. Vent blower is auto. We've already got it down over here to auto. Cabin temp mode is off right there. Aft blower is off. Radiant heat I don't think is even in this airplane, so yeah, aft blower is off. Good. Oxygen supply pressure checked. We come over here and check to make sure that our oxygen supply is in the green. It's where we need it according to our performance charts. Co-pilot circuit breakers we check, make sure these are all pressed in, and we make sure our static source is on normal. We would then go ahead and do our fuel panel check. So we come over here. This is one of our 24-hour checks. What we'd do is go ahead and close the firewall valves. Breaker firewall? I think that's just the breaker for it. I don't want to be popping any breakers. But in the 200, they're down up under here. So we go ahead and close this one, close that one, and we could listen for operation. We could turn our standby pumps on, and we could listen for operation on those as well. We then go ahead and get our battery switch on. However, it is already on since we had our GPS on, our avionics, to build our flight plan. That way you didn't have to sit there and watch us build the flight plan the whole time. But if we didn't, we'd go ahead and get that battery switch on. We should see some fuel pressure lights up here illuminate. You can see that they are illuminated. We would then go ahead and open up the firewall valves, and these should go out. We'd then go ahead and turn off our standby pumps, and these should come back on. That's letting us know that the standby pumps are working and that the firewall shutoff valves are working. For our fuel crossfeed check, we go ahead and crossfeed this over to the left. We should see a little fuel crossfeed right there, and our fuel pressure light up top should go out. It doesn't in the sim, but that's all right. Turn that off, the crossfeed light goes off. Take it to the right, crossfeed light comes on, and then take it back to the center since we're not going to be crossfeed. Battery switch. Check to make sure we have at least that 23 volts, which it does look like we do, and that's what we need for our engine start. Fuel quantity is checked, so we are full in our main tanks. For our auxiliary tanks, we don't have any, but that's okay because we're going to have plenty just with main tanks for this short flight down to Montgomery. Landing gear position and handle lights, those all look good. We can do our hydraulic sensor test. See, I click that and you can see the annunciator light comes on, so that's good. Annunciator panel test, we'll press this, make sure all of our annunciator lights are working. Looks like they are. That's very good. Stall gear warning test, come down here. So we have a stall warning test in this plane. I don't think it works. It didn't work last time either. But you would push that up and you'd hear the stall warning horn. Pushing it down, if it was installed, you could also hear a gear warning horn. So that is installed sometimes, not installed other times. Here's our fire detection switches. You would swap through these dials and make sure that you were getting, it was telling you left or right in your fire up here. We're not going to swap through them because it's hard to get them. It's hard to tell when it's back in the correct position. But we would swap through those. And then we got our beacon on, which, yep, we already got our beacon on. So let's go ahead and start up our right engine first. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see good. Here is our right starter. Go ahead and get that guy up. This right engine should start turning in just a minute, but we can see that our N1's going to start coming up. It's got to be at least 12%, and we're going to wait also until it's stabilized. You can see our right engine's turning. It is stabilized right at about 20. So let's go ahead and bring that right condition lever up to low idle, introduce fuel. Coming down here, we can see our fuel flow coming up, oil pressure's up, watching our ITT, making sure it's not getting too hot. We're ready to cut off the fuel if it does. We can see it starting to roll back. Engine gauges are looking good in the green. Over 50% on our N1 over here. We can get our starter off. It just got to be just the right spot to do so. Alright, then we could go ahead and get our right condition lever up to high. We're going to get our right gen switch on. So up to reset and then on. And then that's going to start to power up a bunch of different stuff. We can come up here and check. We want to make sure that you know, it's charging the battery. Here's the load. We want to make sure it goes less than 50%. We could then go ahead and turn it back off and restart our left engine. So we'll say that's good. And we'll just do a battery start on the left engine as well. On a lot of planes you can do it, I shouldn't say a lot of planes. I know on some models you can do a generator assisted start. I'm not sure exactly how it works in the sim, so we're just going to do 2 battery starts. Left, coming up. We can see our left engine ignition light is on and 1 is coming up. Got to get at least 12%. Got to wait for it to stabilize. It's coming up, stabilized. We'll go ahead and introduce some fuel with our condition lever, fuel, flow, ITT we're watching here. I'm going to make sure it doesn't get too hot. Oh, you can see it starting to roll back. All the rest of the engine instruments are looking good in the green. Over 50% on our N1. Let's go and get that guy off, our starter off. And let's go and get our generators off. Here's our left one, our right one. Come up here, just check our voltages. A triple fed bus, right, left gen, 28. All right, looks good. Engines are running. Next, we got our avionics master on. We already have that on. Again, we had to have that on to build our flight plan, but it's already there. So that's good. Lights is required. Since we're already sitting on the runway here, we're just going to go ahead and get all of our lights on. Like so. And we're going to close our ice vanes because we're not taxiing. We would leave them on for taxi, but we're not taxiing right now, so we're just going to go ahead and leave those things off since we're not going to be taking off in icing conditions. Nice clear day. So again, you'd have those on for taxi, that's for FOD protection, or you'd have them on if you're taking off into icing conditions, which we are not. Lights is required. DC loads and voltages we just checked. Environmental controls as required. We could switch this guy over to auto, and then we could increase or decrease the cabin temperature as needed. If we're not really running the AC, then we can go ahead and bring that right condition lever back. Engine instruments, you check those, they're all looking good. Clearance, flight plan, avionics, and radar, we got all those things. Flight controls and electric trim, we would check. You know, with the yoke, it's kind of pointless to do it in the simulator, but we would check it in real life. Here we got our trim, so we're going to set everything to neutral for takeoff 000. Neutral's on the trim. Flaps checked and set. Let's make sure our flaps work. We'll extend it down. You can see we extend it there. Comes down to approach. Extend it again. Come all the way down. Obviously, you would also look out the window as well to see those flaps coming up and down. Autopilot checked. We're not really going to check that here in the sim just because it doesn't really work that good. Pressurization test we will do. So let's go ahead and get our bleed air valves open. We're going to make sure that our plane can pressurize. So we got that there. We're going to set a few hundred feet below our field elevation, which I believe the field here in Santa Barbara is basically 0, right? Yeah. So we're going to take our cabin altitude now. We're going to turn this down. We're going to go below our field of 0. The other thing checklist says is to push the condition levers up to high idle, so we'll do that. gonna go about 500 feet below zero. Now when we press this test switch, which I'll show you right here, we've got, it's kind of hard to see both of these gauges at the same time. Here's the test switch. We're gonna push that down to test mode. When we do, we should see our cabin start to descend. That means that we're pressurizing. Boom, cabin is descending. Perfect. Then we can put it back up to normal, and it looks good. Awesome. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set our cabin altitude for cruise. We're going to be cruising at 23,000 today. So we're going to go 1,000 feet above that altitude. 23, 24. Good. That'll give us a cabin pressure of 5,000 feet. Okay, and then our condition levers, we can go ahead and bring those back to that low idle position. Next, we got our rudder boost and our governor check. So our rudder boost switch, we would go ahead and have on. It already is on, so that's good. Our propeller levers, we'll get those full forward. They are full forward. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold our propeller switch to test here. So we're going to hold that to the, yeah, okay. It went up. All right. So we're going to hold that to test, and then we're going to go ahead and bring our left throttle in. We're going to bring it up to about 1,800 RPM. So we're going to bring it in. As you do, just make sure that you don't over torque the engine. So watch your torque as well. As you're bringing it in, you should feel a rudder boost kick on the rudders. All right. And then you can see that even though I'm increasing the throttle, the RPM is still holding steady. Means the governor is working good. So then we're going to go ahead and let go of it, and we'll make sure our primary governor works good. You see it goes up, but it doesn't go above that red. Then we'll go ahead and bring this back to idle. Okay. Next one, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing again. So we're going to hold this, and then we're going to do it with our right throttle. Bring it up. We should feel the rudder boost kick on our feet. It's holding about that 1,700, so that looks good. We're not over torquing it. We're going to let go of the test. It should go up and not go above the red line. That looks excellent. So let's go ahead now and bring this guy back to our idle. Now idle on here is, yeah, right about there maybe. It's kind of finicky because I don't really have a spot for it on my actual throttles that I'm manipulating with my fingers, so and we're just gonna say it's right about there. Alright, so that's how that goes. Auto feather test, we can get our power levers up just a little bit, and I don't think this one really works all that good in the sim, but we get this up just a little bit, give us some power. 500 foot-pounds is what we do in the 200, but we'll just bring it, I don't know, maybe 30% torque. I don't really know what it would be in the 350. And then our auto feather, we'd go ahead and test this, so we'd bring this down into test mode. Holding that in test mode, we should be able to bring, you can see we got our auto feather lights on, AFX. We can bring this back, our left one, or our, yeah, we can do our left one first. And once we get a differential, we should see some lights kind of popping on. All right, you see that auto feather goes off. Okay, and then the prop would attempt to feather. We can then go ahead and bring this guy up. Auto feather lights back on. And auto feather lights back on, and then we can do the other engine. Auto feather lights off. Propeller's attempting to feather. It's not working. Good. Or it is working, sorry. And then we'll bring these back and let go of the test switch. We'll get this back up to arm. Looks good. So, yep, then we have our auto feather armed. We could then go ahead and test our feather with the actual levers here. We could get these back to feather, make sure it's working. Doesn't go to that detent with the sim, that's okay. We have our pneumatic pressure check. So this is, we got our power levers, so let's go ahead and get them up to about 1,800 RPM. We got to put some power on them. Doesn't have to be exactly 1,800, I don't think, but just we want to get some power on them. And we're going to check to make sure our bleed air switches are working. So we're going to get our left bleed air all the way down to off first. See, we got a left bleed air, but our pressures are still in the green. That means that the right side of the system can hold the entire system. That's good. Let's go ahead and get the right one off. And now we're going to see master warnings, left, right, bleed air fail. And you can see we've lost our pressure. Now let's go ahead and get the left one on and see if the left one can hold the system all by itself. You can see power comes up, lights go off. The left one's good. And we can go ahead and get that right one back up and on. While we're up here at this 1800 RPM, we can do our engine ice vanes check. So our ice vanes are closed right now. Turning them on should give us a little drop in torque since we lose some power. So if we get our left and right one on, it might be hard to see in the sim, but it is just a little drop on both the torques. And then we'll set these for takeoff. We do not need them for our takeoff today. And then we can go ahead and bring our levers, power levers back to idle. Looking good, looking good. Flight and engine instruments look good. Annunciator lights considered, they're good. Bleed air valves are open. Pressurization, just double check it, make sure we're good. Yep, looks good. And then we got our final items before takeoff. Let's go ahead and get our hot items on. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our heats, and our auto ignition, 6 and 7. So you can see we've got our ignition lights on. Exterior lights are good, transponder is good, a flight director is good. So now we have got everything that we need and we are ready for our departure. So we're going to depart straight ahead, 6,000, and then we're going to fly the Flouts 5 departure, and that is already in our GPS. So let's go ahead and click that off. We're going to add some power. We should see our auto ignition lights come off. So 2 lights off once we get up a little bit, and our auto feather lights come on. So that's 2 lights on. Power is coming up. Airspeed is coming alive. Just want to make sure we don't over torque or over temp our engines here. Airspeed's looking good. Okay, we'll go ahead and make our rotation. Rotate, nice and easy. She'll fly when she wants to fly. And we're up. We're off. So we can go ahead and retract our landing gear. Okay, we'll go ahead and get our autopilot on. So we've got our nav, and we're climbing. Got our landing gear up. We can go ahead and get our lights off. We'll just do the beacon and the navs right now. We're fine with those. Torques, temps, engine instruments look good. We can bring back some power for climb. So we'd bring these back to about 1900 RPM for our climb. Those look good. In this plane we do have a little props sync switch. So let's go ahead and get that up. And we're off on our departure procedure heading up to 6,000 feet. New desired track is 227. Look at this. Let's go ahead and put this on. Going the long way around the horn. Sync up our heading bug. Altitude's looking good. Airspeed is looking good. We're climbing just fine. Awesome. So our climb, landing gear, flaps retracted, exterior lights, climb power, prop sync set. Pressurization is good. Cabin sign as required. I guess if you wanted to be like, hey, you guys are good, go ahead and switch that down. Aft blowers required. Engine instruments checked. Everything looks good. We're not over torquing or over temping anything. Windshield heat, we could use it if we wanted to. We probably will. 10,000 feet, maybe we'll go ahead and turn it on. And we're climbing now. Up 6,000. And let's say ATC said, KingAir Wi-Fi C5, climb and maintain 3,000. Set us all the way up to our final right now. Super nice. So we're going to continue our climb up 22,000 feet. That way we don't have to level off, readjust our power, and do the whole jazz again. We'll zoom out on our GPS here just a little bit to keep an eye on it. see outside, see how we're feeling. Nice clear day. Beautiful day for a flight. Flout, so we're gonna get a new desired track of 199. Oh, and another new desired track, 088. Speed looks fine. Coming up through 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and put our windshield heat on. Pressurization's good. It's feeling good. Cabin's climbing. We got some differential pressure. Fuel looks fine. Engine instruments look good. That's Catalina out there. I'm not an expert in California geography. Torques and temps look good. We're probably going to go ahead and increase some power here. Props look good. About 1900. Oh, a little bit too much torque, so let's bring those back. They're very touchy out here. Alright, cruising along. We got 40 miles to Ventura. I guess we're not cruising, we're still climbing, but got that 40 miles to Ventura. Coming over here, I'm going to come back over, kind of show you our map, or look at a couple things here. So again, LAX, then come down here and go down. Looking at Montgomery though, there's really only one approach in Montgomery. Weather, how does it look? 5 statute miles of haze, broken at 2300. So marginal VFR. We might just end up shooting this approach. As we get closer, we'll probably give ourselves a direct to Bakel intersection. Come and hit this. I'll zoom in so maybe you can see a little better. Come and hit Bakel intersection, and then that'd be maybe we can shoot Silas to a right and to the airport. 120 at 3. I don't really mind landing with like the 3-knot tailwind, but we'll double check the wind again. If it is changing, we're getting stronger as we get closer, we can, shoot the approach and then circle to a different runway if we need to. But for now, that's just kind of what we'll plan on doing. 18,000, we got to go to 29902. have our, I'm not really familiar with this radar thing, so that's why I haven't used it very much, but maybe we can set a test on. And then we got a range increase, decrease, okay. It's hard to manipulate this stupid little dial. I don't know where to put my cursor. There we go. Alright, it looks like it's good out ahead of us, so we're just going to leave it like that. Coming up on our cruise altitude, we'll do our cruise check. And then cruise power is going to be set. We're going to get our props back to 1700 RPM for cruising. Torques and temps are looking okay. Maybe add even some power and I think we'll be alright. Alright, engine instruments look good. And then we'll monitor these as we go, and we'll monitor our fuel over here. Not really worried about icing conditions right now, because I think we're going to end up being above those clouds. That being said, we've got 24 miles to Ventura, and then after Ventura we head down to LAX. So we're gonna have timestamps down below. If you guys want to skip ahead to the descent and approach, that's fine. Or if you just want to enjoy the views and cruise, you can go ahead and do that as well. But we'll see you guys back here in just a little bit for descent and approach. Alright, while we're up here at cruise, let's go ahead and get this let's get this ILS approach brief. So we're going to be doing the ILS localizer 28 right. Localizer frequency is 111.95. We just put that in. Final approach course is going to be 281. Runway landing 3399. Touchdown airport elevation 400 feet. 423, 427. Circling runways, those at night is not authorized. We're going during the day, so we should be good. Mausers for our approach lights. Miss approach, climb to 1100, then climbing left turn to 3000. On a heading at 270 to the MZB VOR and hold. 8 is 126.9. We got our frequencies right there. So we're coming over here to Backle, then we can go down to 4200, maybe. And then after maybe we can go down to 36, to Nesty, and then down to Penny, 2500. And that's where we'll intercept our glide slope. Our minimums for straight in are going to be 673. If we end up circling, it'll be 920. And here's our minimum safe altitudes: 4,400 to the north, 5,400 to the southeast, and 2,100 to the southwest. Let's look at the weather, see if it's changed at all. We'll go ahead and refresh this page. Montgomery weather. Winter calm, so we'll just go straight in. Make it easy on ourselves. We'll go straight into it. And the altimeter setting 3009 for altimeter setting. Sweet. Let's see, we are 10 miles to OCN, so we're going to go ahead and start our descent. Let's go ahead and bug that 4200. Set that in here. 4,200. Alright, and last time we tried a descent on here, it was a little bit weird. So we're going to do altitude select, and then we're going to do vertical speed, because when we tried to do the descend button, it did not work very good. It was kind of all over the place. So let's do 1,000 feet per minute maybe, and probably more. We'll probably end up doing like 1,500, but I'm going to bring my power back a little bit for our descent. Yeah, see, the trim light goes crazy with the autopilot. Anytime I move the throttles, the trim just kind of goes nuts. But we are going to want more of a descent. We're going to bring it down to, I don't know, 1,500 feet. Maybe that's too much. Alright, that looks good. But I don't want to get going too fast, so I do like to have my power back a little bit, but watch, I'm going to barely move my power back here. Oh, it didn't do that time. Okay. Maybe we're good. Maybe we're good. Maybe I'm overreacting. We're definitely going to be heading into some soup up here, so I'm just going to go ahead and get our ice stuff on ahead of time. You can see our prop amps come up. That's good. That means that's working. And everything else is on. We'll go ahead and get our ice vanes on. We're going to have a new desired track now. Oh, we got to activate our approach. That was nice that it told us that. So let's do procedure. Activate. Awesome. We got 111.95. That is the active. We're going to be heading back over to where we want to go. And we got 40. Yeah, we got 40 miles to get there. Desired track is 122. Is that what it is? Yeah, 122. We got our icing stuff on, and we're starting our descent. Other things on the descent checklist, we got to do our field. So we're going to put it to the field plus 500, basically put it down to 1,000 feet. Yeah, because it's almost 500 feet for the field. Okay, pressurization is set. Arrival and approach have been briefed. Windshield heat, ATIS and AWOS we've got, and our altimeter will change as we cross that 18,000 feet. 4,200. Everything's looking good. What was the altimeter setting again? I can never remember. 3009. We go. Speed looks alright. I'm probably going to bring in a little bit of power though. I think we need to go quite this slow. Bring in a touch. I wonder why we only have one auto feather. Oh, there we go. I don't know why we only have one auto feather light on. Whatever. 23 miles to go. Maybe we'll slow it just a little bit. Make sure we can get to that altitude. Let's maybe do a little better descent. It gives 2,000 foot a minute. Clouds and bring power back in a little bit more. Cabin's descending. Everything's looking good to me. Basically at mile of power. And I'll lose a whole bunch of tubes before we get to approach. About 10 miles to go. Altitude might be okay. Get down to that 4,200 in time. Pretty sure that's all of our approach, descent checklist. Yep. Approach reels and navigate set, altimeter set, auto feather checked and armed. We have that pressurization. Cabin sign. Just gonna tell everybody to sit down. There we go. Ah, now we just fly, guys. We just fly. Popping in and out of clouds. It's all right. All right. What are we crossing here? What's our buckle? I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so I can see my 750 a little better. And we're still pretty high at buckle. So after buckle, we can go down to 36, or sorry, after Mibby, we can go down to 3,600. So let's see how far out is Mibby. We might just put this down to 36 and then keep an eye on it. Approach course 200. Or sorry, desired track 200. If our approach course was, I might just put it on that 281 because we're going to keep this turn coming around. See how it keeps turning. 281 here. Maybe. Good. Let's see if we switch over to nav mode and hit approach. Are we gonna get a little glide slope needle in a minute? Maybe. Alright, looks like we're intercepting our localizer, which is good. 111.95, we have that tuned in, so just cruising now. Not cruising, coming late. So 3,600 to Nesty, and then we got Penny. Hope we're getting a little slow. Bring in some power. Penny, 2,500. After Nesty, we can go down to 2,500. Looks like our glide slope might even be starting to come in just a touch. While I'm thinking about it, while we're up here, might as well just get these on, then we don't have to worry about them. Yep, glide slope is coming in. So we could be going down to 2,500 right now, but I'm just going to let it intercept the glide slope. Go down. Let's go ahead and get our props full forward in case we end up having to do a go round or anything. Missed. We'll extend one notch of flaps as we begin our descent here. Yep, I know my altitude is done. We're going to be doing 3,000 on our altitude if we end up going missed. So I'm not going to screw through right now. I'm just going to go. Okay, props are in. Flaps are to approach. Airspeed's looking a little fast, so we'll bring some power back. Obviously that throws off the whole deal. Glide slope looks good. Localizer looks good. After panning, since we're going straight in, we're going to go to 673. We'll call it 700 feet. Speed is still a little quick. Probably go ahead and put our gear down. Make sure that comes down. 3 green, no red. 3 green, no red. That'll help slow us up a little bit too. Field in sight, and I think we're getting below kind of all the icing stuff. So let's go ahead and get that. Let's go ahead and get that prop off. We can get these guys off. Get our anti-ice off in case we need the power for a go round. Speed's looking all right. Maybe bring in a little bit of power. Check our configuration. 1 notch of flaps, gears down. Once we kind of know we've got that field made, we'll put in our last notch of flaps and put this pig on the ground. And it looks like it's going to be a left turn across 28 left to parking. Go. Feet to go. Let's do that last notch of flaps. Let's go ahead and kick off our autopilot and just hand fly this puppy. Can't land on the extended threshold here. Remember, we gotta land past it. We'll say that they told us that we could turn right on 523, or left, sorry, left on 523, so we'll do that. Get our flaps up. Say turn left on 523, and we can, this one's cross 28 left, 10 right, and then we'll take a left on the next taxiway. A little bit of a shorter runway, really. Why is there a sign in the middle of the taxiway? Is the taxiway closed or something? We'll try to skirt around that thing and not hit it with our props. Good thing this is a flight simulator, right? Alright, now that we're off, we can do our after landing check. So let's go ahead and pull that up. Obviously, it's, you know, you can kind of do this on the roll, but it is kind of hard to do it on the roll in the flight simulator. So we can get our hot set on. Boom, boom. 5, 6, 7. Engine ice fans, we'll have these guys on for taxi. Exterior lights as required. Yeah, we can get our strobes and those ones off. Ice protection is off. Good. Radar, we would switch to standby. I'm not going to worry about it in here. Transponder to 1200 or standby. We'll just click it to VFR. It's just that, like, I would switch this thing, but like switching it's such a pain. Oh, okay. Actually, that wasn't so bad. Flaps are retracted. Trim tabs will be reset for our next takeoff. Good. And then let's go ahead and taxi back in. We'll go find a parking spot out over here. It's like there's a TBM at every airport, huh? Alright, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Cut over here and park next to the TBM. It's obviously going to be a little hard to see this guy. Hopefully we don't hit him. Oh, maybe this... Is this guy actually marshalling me in? Like, accurately? There's no way. I guess there's a way, but... We're gonna trust him, so hopefully we're good. Oh my gosh, he really is. Ha! That's funny. I didn't know that was actually on the flight simulator. Parking brake's good. Avionics master switch is coming off. Let's see, auto feather. We can go ahead and get this guy off. Light switch is off. For now, vent blower is on auto. We can get the cabin temp mode off. Aft blower, radiant heat, all that stuff is off. Bleed airs coming off. ITT, come up here. Double check that it's been stabilized for a minute. We can go ahead and get these guys cut off. Air condition levers, propeller levers. We're going to bring those back. DC voltage, we could then come up here. Check our current limiters. Overhead light switches off. Oxygen supply control handle. We'd go ahead and push that back in. Back behind us. Get our beacon off now. The engine's off. And then I think we can just, yep, we check the tack time. And then boom, gang bar that down. And we are here in Montgomery. Thanks for joining us on this flight, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Coming up soon.